Turmoil in a South Georgia police department as the Glynn County Police Chief, John Powell, and 3 officers have been indicted by a grand jury. The charges grow out of what is described as a cover-up by the police department of one of his detectives having sex with a drug informant. Arrest warrants have been issued, and the interim police chief has now been placed in charge. News 4 Jax reporter Jim Piggott is joining us live from Brunswick, where he spoke with county leaders and with some local residents, all of whom were surprised by this indictment. Jim?
A lot of people surprised by this. No word yet, though, if Chief Powell has been arrested or turned himself in. Earlier this afternoon, that had not taken place. Also, this has been an investigation that's been going on, I'd say, for about a year. They were aware of that here at the police department, but they were surprised at the outcome. For many in downtown Brunswick, it was a surprise to learn that the Glynn County Chief of Police, John Powell, is in trouble, indicted by a grand jury for his role into an investigation into his police department. The indictments say Powell was trying to influence witnesses in the case. He faces felony charge on criminal intent and 4 oath of office violations.
When you hear that your chief of police is being arrested, it's pretty disturbing.
And does it cause you to still lose faith in maybe the police department?
No, there's always a few bad apples and a lot of good ones.
It all started from an investigation into a former Glynn County detective. Word got out that he was having sex with one of his informants. The 20-count indictment shows supervisors knew about the sex but didn't report it to Chief Powell. And when he did find out, he didn't have the detective supervisor cooperate with GBI investigators. There was also concern about another officer having dealings in a bar with a convicted drug dealer who was carrying a weapon. According to the indictments, Chief Powell was aware of that as well, but did not order an internal investigation. Glynn County Commissioner Bill Brunson says they learned about these indictments today and have acted quickly in naming a replacement interim chief. What do you think?
Well, we certainly very much respect the grand jury and their findings. We obviously were disappointed in the indictments, but it's part of due process, and I think we have to remember that these policemen are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
But the fact that the chief is now suspended with pay and that other officers are in trouble has this community wondering what's going to happen now.
My initial reaction is, if you've done the crime, you need to pay the time.
Are you surprised to hear, though, it's the chief of police?
Yes.
You're supposed to uphold the law, man. You're supposed to be honest, do the right thing,
And that's what the county is now going to have to deal with, while the chief and others will go to court to decide their fate.
We don't see anything that's going to affect our ability to keep our citizens safe in this process.
But what about trust?
Well, I can't speak to the trust. I can only, I hope that the community trusts that we're going to live up to our #1 goal in our strategic plan, and that's a safe community.
Brian Scott was one of the former officers that was indicted here. Now, he is the chief of police now in Vandalia, Georgia. I called up there today to find out his status. At that time, well, they just didn't know. They said they will have word on Monday. For now, we're live in Brunswick. Jim Piggott, Channel 4, the local station.